Hello, Justice Warriors. I'm your host, Heather Cohen, and today I am bringing you the special video edition of the Justice Warriors podcast in hopes that somebody out there will have information to help us solve the murder of Raquel Jackson. Raquel, also known as Kelly, was 22 years old when she was murdered. She was a young, vibrant mother-to-be, and she was a loving mother to her 2-year-old son. On the day that she was murdered, we know that she had a doctor's appointment at Nyan and Associates on Barrett Avenue. We know that she was living in Arcadia Apartments in Louisville, Kentucky, and she was waiting tables at Big Hop's Diner. On the day that she was murdered, after her appointment, she went to Big Hop's where she was scheduled to wait tables that day, and she was sent home. We know that her son was at his aunt's house, but what happened to Kelly after that is a mystery. I was able to sit down with her sister, Messia, who had this to say about her sister's murder.
So I had actually talked to her that week on a Tuesday, and I remember vividly because I was washing my car, and I still drive by that car wash a lot. And she told me she had to go to the doctor, and I said, "Hey, okay, that's great. Let me know how's it going, and if you get an ultrasound and everything's good, and when you're going to get a due date," because she was supposed to deliver natural and I was going to have a cesarean. So we were talking about delivering and our due dates and everything. Well, I talked to her that Tuesday and she's like, "Okay, after I go to the doctor, I'll give you a call." I was like, "Okay." So Friday came and I didn't hear nothing from her. I figured, after the doctor, after she has to go to work, she'll call me. But I can never remember if it was like that night, April the 4th, or was it maybe April the 5th? I mean, everything was such a blur then. I picked up the phone or my husband picked up the phone. I mean, like I said, everything was a blur back then. And they told me my sister had been killed. And she lived in Arcadia Apartments there in Louisville, Kentucky.
Take your time.
And at first I was like, "Is her son okay? Like, where's everybody at?" And I remember picking up the phone and I'm like, "This cannot be true." And so I called repeatedly. And it's just that the people that live in that area, or anybody who knew my sister, knew she was a determined, kind-hearted person. I mean, I just want everybody to know out there, April 2003, if you were ever lived in Arcadia Apartments there on Phyllis Lane in Kentucky, or if you went to the doctor at Nyan and Associates on Barrett Avenue, or you worked there, maybe you remember anything small, maybe you sat next to her, maybe you talked to her, maybe you shared an elevator with her, or seen her at the gas station, because there's so many pieces we have not put together. And I still have this picture. This is a picture of her a week before she died. And she was definitely a very loving person. She was a great mom. And I just don't understand how after almost 18 years, the people in the community don't speak out and say anything. Because from the family that I know that lives there or have lived there, they've told me about the community where they don't speak up and they don't say anything, but they know. And it's almost like the community is, I want to tell people that you are enabling this person or persons to kill your family or your sister or your son or your daughter by not saying anything. And that's the thing that's most hurtful, is because I know somebody in their heart has to know something. I don't care if it's the smallest thing. And people will talk and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about your sister. She was a great person." But at the same time, people will talk and they will gossip and they say, "Oh, I know who did it." And I know, well, you know what? just call somebody. Just reach out to the police, reach out to the detectives, call anonymously. I mean, it's been 18 years. And mom and dad have to live with this all the time. My birthday is in April. So I have to live with this every time I have a birthday. My husband's birthday is in April. And I have to live with having a birthday every year, the anniversary of my sister, and then celebrating my own birthday, my husband's birthday. And her son's birthday is in April. So April is a very hard month for us. Yeah. But I just really want the people out there to understand that these people, or this person that did this to my sister, is still there. They're still in Louisville. They're still there, being able to live their life and to work and have their kids or their grandkids. And my sister, like I said, not only did I lose my sister, I lost a nephew. My nephew lost his little brother. And I just really hope that whoever can find it in their heart, if you don't want to give your name, if you can at least give any little bit of information, because we have nothing right now. And I just hope people can see that the only way somebody is going to be held accountable for this is if you speak up. Because I know I would if it was your mom or your aunt or your sister, somebody in your family. If I knew something, I couldn't live with myself knowing a little bit of information and not telling anybody. It's just hard, and I just take it day by day. And I just want to just plead with whoever is listening to please speak up and say something, even if it's the smallest amount of information. I beg you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You're really brave doing this. I know I've told you this before, but you're a really good sister. All these years later, you're still not giving up on getting justice for Kelly. And
I know it can't bring back my sister, but like I said, I've told you before, is that I have a daughter that's a few years older. My daughter will be 26 next month. And I, just from my sister's murder, I'm always paranoid and anxious and like probably more overprotective than I am of anything. And then I have 2 nieces. I have 3 grandkids now, the girls. And I'm just like, I can't imagine, what my mom and my dad have to go through, and they still have to live with this every day. I'm the oldest. My sister, Raquel, was the next, and then I had a little brother and sister. A little brother and sister, Janelle, and then my little brother, Brandon. But it's like, my sister didn't even get to, like, my daughter was 6 or 7, so she doesn't even really remember Kelly. And then when I talked to her son throughout the years, I visited with him during the summer, but he's almost 21 now. And as he was growing up, and I'm like, how do you tell a 5-year-old or 8-year-old about their mom being, dying or being murdered? I feel for his father, like having that conversation with him. And it's hard for everybody.
Right.
And I just want people to understand that, because it could easily, this could easily happen to anybody else. The only way that we're going to help put this type of person or persons away is actually speaking up and opening their mouths and finding in their heart to actually say something or do something. Or because I know somebody has had to talk. I know somebody has had to have conversations or know something. Maybe there's somebody who was there in her apartment, or maybe there was somebody who was in the parking lot that day, or at her doctor's office at the Nye and Associates. I mean, Arcadia Apartments, there was a lot of apartments there. You know, did they see a weird card that day? Something. I mean, like I said, my sister's not very, she's not one of those people that blended in. People would remember her.
Justice Warriors, if you have any information about the death of Raquel Jackson, please call Detective Metzler at the Louisville Police Department at 502-574-7055. It's been 18 years. Raquel deserves justice. Her unborn son deserves justice. Her son deserves answers, and her family deserves peace. Call now.